Liz is someone that has proven to us this season of 90 Day Fiancé The Single Life to be simply reality ready. So far, this has been Liz's strongest ever season. But despite this season being a season where she's proven to herself that she's reality ready to tackle anything, Sophie on the other side has proven herself to be far from reality ready. Sophie has proven herself to really expose that the things that Rob said about her are actually playing out. And it makes us all really question, has she ever really been an authentic person? Someone that's actually ever told the truth? Somebody that we believe that when she says what she says, it's actually come from a place of it makes sense? Or somebody who says things because she simply believes the world revolves around her? Well, we're about to dive into this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin by, hopefully you lovely folks right now, hyping the video. Please click on the hype. That would be absolutely appreciated. But let's dive into Liz to begin with. So Liz decides to pretty much tell us about the preparation that she had to go through to be able to make the trip. Something that we spoke about in yesterday's video when I said to you guys that Sophie doesn't even fathom, doesn't even understand the fact that Liz is in a very fragile place right now, or at least was when this was filmed, and yet she wants to be a mean girl to Liz. But let's dive into what it took for Liz to even make this season.
My doctor knew about my trip to the DR 3 months prior to me taking this trip. So my doctor was helping me to where I can go on this vacation and not be, even though I was sick.
So let's just let that sink in, folks. So let's not let that go over our heads. 3 months. She had to make sure that her doctor knew. So therefore preparations had to be in place. Because you see, anybody that is either, anyone that's either had cancer and hopefully survived, or is going through cancer but you're still fighting through, you will know that being able to travel is something that isn't necessarily recommended, depending on what stage you're at, depending on the type that you have, for all different reasons. But we all know that it is not something that is easy to happen, especially if it involves you potentially getting on a flight. These are things that you can be advised to not do depending on exactly your current situation. So given the fact that this woman, Liz, wanted to make this trip happen, and I guess also at the same time to make sure that she put some money in her pocket, because I can understand her wanting to be on the show. Because you see, when it comes to the medical bills that she's going to need to pay for everything that she's going through, it's going to be hella expensive. So any money that she can make anywhere and everywhere, respectfully, it makes a lot of sense that she pushed to try and get herself to be on The Single Life. You know what I mean? And to be fair, that is fantastic. And I will say shout out to Sharp Entertainment, TLC 90 Fiancé, for actually allowing her to be here, to be on the show, because really and truly, they could have been like, no, you're going to be a liability because of your health. So we're going to go and pick someone else to come on the show instead. But no, they helped her, which is fantastic. But either way, though, when it comes to Sophie, she obviously didn't give a damn. But let's continue.
But 3 weeks off of a medication, we're talking about a month and a half of adjusting medications and everything for me to safely have fun on this vacation. There would have been no way I would have been able to leave my room or go do any activities.
And that's another thing that has to be strongly highlighted. The fact that she has gone away on a trip and she's actually able to have fun. She's met this guy at this moment in time, seems to be a good guy. She's able to dance, she's able to party, she's able to get intimate with him. You know what I mean? She's able to just enjoy life. And it's beautiful to watch. But it's a damn shame that sometimes in life, when we are doing our best to enjoy our life, despite what we're going through, there's always someone out there that's trying to ruin our parade. Someone there to try and bring us down. And in this situation, it's Sophie. And trust me, when we get into that, yeah, we're about to get into that.
And my doctor did say, you are safe to do all daily activities as if you were not sick.
Absolutely phenomenal. Like I said before, shout out to the doctor first and foremost who helped to prep for this, and also for Sharp Entertainment, 90 Day, TLC, whatever, for being there to obviously help her, or to actually allow her to still be on the show and obviously, put money in her pocket. But on the flip side, some people may say, well, TLC obviously wouldn't push her back because they see her as a way of making their show become like not a sob story, but a story where people can relate to the fact that she's going through this. To be fair, at the same time, were they really allowing her to be on the show because they wanted to do that to help her out? I guess we'll never know. But in this situation, I'm going to give them their flowers because I want to keep it positive when it comes to Liz's journey so far in this season. So now, one thing that we can confirm is that Liz has proven herself to be reality ready with 1, being able to be upfront with the audience, 2, being able to upfront with the man that she just met, and 3, most importantly, knowing that she's more than happy to be honest with herself about what's going on, which therefore allows her to be honest with other people. Liz is definitely so far reality ready. But Sophie, on the other hand, like I said to you folks, is not. So we're going to dive into Sophie now. We're going to dive into her attitude, to her ridiculous behavior, her accusations that are not needed. And if you have not hyped the video yet, please do hype and also like the video at the same damn time. Let's dive into this one.
Pedro finally texts me and I'm like, oh, Pedro texts me. It's a picture of me sat at the bar with Dr. Guy. I'm like, who could have sent him this picture? Like, I know it's not Julia. And then I see Liz is on her phone like a lot.
So here's the thing. Sophie's the one that decided to tell Pedro that both of them two are in a position where they can still talk to other people. That was her choice, her words. So therefore, Pedro decided to distance himself. But prior to Pedro even distancing himself from Sophie, Sophie was already distancing herself from Pedro anyway. She was trying to keep him at arm's length. She was trying to keep him in a position where she was like, well, I'm going to keep him close so he can keep buying me things, invite me to places, make me feel special. But I'm not going to give him the full because I don't want to necessarily invest in him right now. Maybe not ever. Basically wasting Pedro's time. But here's the thing though. Now, all of a sudden, she's obviously gone to the bar. A guy has approached her. Did she reject the guy? No. She decided to entertain the guy on that first time and another time. Or if it was at the first time. Either way, she entertained that guy. So of course, if Pedro is going to be in the same vicinity as you, he's obviously going to more likely be able to see it. But you see, here's the thing, when it comes to Sophie, on the other hand, instead of recognizing that her choices put her in this position, she decides to do what? Blame someone else. And in this situation, it just happened to be Liz that she wanted to blame. This is why she's somebody that is not reality ready to actually pay attention to her own actions. And this is why people would call her a narcissist. But let's continue.
She's on her phone. She's like calling. And I'm like,
because I is looking to the door that is in front of me. Sophie, this guy, been walking together.
So you saw it in person. You took the photo.
Yeah.
Boom, bam. Boom, bam. Pedro told her himself. And the question is, though, when Pedro even showed Sophie this picture, why didn't she ask him, so where did you get these photos from? Why didn't she ask him, like, how did you come across this information? She didn't. She just wanted to jump to conclusions straight away and say, Liz, it was your fault. Now, of course, we can sit here and say that maybe we're making this into a bigger issue because Liz is somebody that is currently, or at least was, I know she is still currently, my apologies, in a vulnerable position with her health. But this isn't about Liz's health. This is about Sophie and who she is as a person. Because here's the thing. It could have been anyone else. Let's say, for example, it'd been Yara that went on the trip with her. Okay? If she's got an issue with a woman that she believes is being too honest with the other person that she's trying to manipulate, or the guy that she's trying to play, or the guy that she's trying to, get her own way with, doesn't matter who you are, she'll treat you exactly the same way. She's somebody that has no remorse. Somebody that doesn't care about anybody else but herself. Hella selfish. Ugly selfish. Disgustingly selfish. Like I said, reality ready isn't something that she's ever really going to do, which is why Sophie's probably going to continue her life being single. Anytime she's going to meet a guy, she's probably going to meet very, very mean people, guys that aren't willing to tolerate her BS, and he may get her in situations that no woman should want to see her in. There are sometimes in life there are certain people who bring trouble to their door because of the choices that they make. Sophie's one of those people. Let's continue.
It's complete coincidence and accident. Why am I the issue? If I really like someone, or if I really want to see where I'm going to date or go into, and like my girlfriend kind of messed it up, I'm not going to put the blame, I really want to see where I'm going to date or.
You see, Liz, you're not going to put the blame because you're somebody, like I said before, who has become reality ready. Sophie's always going to do this. Remember before when Sophie and Rob were obviously together? This was a season where I believe it was Rob's birthday season. And in that season itself in particular, Rob decided that he wanted to walk away from Sophie. He decided that he wanted to break up with her. But at that time, Sophie was staying with her friend Kay. But Rob, what did he do? He drove to the place, to her friend's place. Told Sophie that me and you are over. What happened? Sophie had a complete breakdown about the fact that Rob had the audacity to break up with her, as if she's this person in this world that can never be broken up with. There's this person in the world that can only be the one that does the breaking up. She doesn't like rejection. She doesn't like men walking away from her. She hates it. So therefore she has to find a way to flip the script. And remember that scene? Her friend then comes out. Even her friend confronted Rob and said, how dare you break up with her? If anybody should be breaking up with anyone, it should be her breaking up with you, not you breaking up with her. Had a whole friend enabling her behavior. Because her friend as well was never reality ready. Maybe never will be. And Sophie definitely won't be, because Sophie's the kind of person that will only have girls around her who's going to enable her BS. And that's why Julia's involvement this season has been absolutely atrocious. What is Julie doing? Siding with the mean girl. Siding with Sophie. Nah, that's not good for business. But then again, maybe it's just really exposing the character of Julia, right? Moral of the situation is Sophie has never been reality ready, and her choices continue to allow her to be in this path of not being reality ready, and therefore she ends up losing out on guys that may be good for her. And I say may because I don't know if Pedro would have been good for her. For me personally, I know that she would have never been good for Pedro personally, especially with his family. You know, you need to be a woman that's not a narcissist for starters, and you got thick skin. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's continue.
Or go into, and like my girlfriend kind of messed it up, I'm not going to put the blame, oh, my man hasn't talked to me for 4 or 5 days because of you. Well, clearly you don't give a if you haven't tried to fix the problem when it happened.
Someone tell me where the lie is. Where is the lie? If you really wanted this man, first and foremost, you would have never made him feel, you would have never been distant with him in the first place. That's all that needs to be said right then and there. Men and women, if you are dealing with somebody who is being distant, question why. It doesn't necessarily mean that person's playing a game. Some people have reasons that do make sense. So just question why. And then the answer that you receive can give you a choice on how you want to proceed moving forward. But please, with the answer that you receive, pay attention to the answer. Don't pay attention and fixate on a certain word or a certain thing that gives you hope. Listen to what that person's saying and make the choice that doesn't give you hope, but the choice that gives you more clarity than hope. Because hope is a dangerous thing.
Why am I the issue? Why am I the horrible person when you didn't care to fix it 4 days ago?
We shall say no less. We shall say no more. We shall say absolutely more. Hit the nail on the head. So now we're going to proceed to the next bit here. Now we're still on the topic of Liz, but now we're going to dive in to Ed. Yes, Big Ed. This man shouldn't even still be on television. It is embarrassing. It's absolutely disgusting that this man still has the opportunity to still keep coming back on this TV show. Honestly, it's not a good look for the network, but they will do whatever they want to do. But he's not the only man who shouldn't still be in this network. And trust me when I tell you, when we get to this guy, yeah, we're about to go in hard. But let's talk about Big Ed. And again, folks, if you have not hit the hype button, please do it. If you have not hit the like button, please do it. And if you also have not hit the subscribe button, please do it. Now, let's get into Ed.
So I was very taken back when I found out what Liz went through. She had a miscarriage, and that's how they later found out about the cancer, but
you know, the way he's talking about Liz, as if he has permission to talk about Liz, is actually quite... Let me say less.
That dirtbag Jason wouldn't even take care of her. And then he left her. If it was me, no matter how big I was, I would have never done that, and I wouldn't have.
Somebody please let me know. How many of you believe anything that just come out of his mouth? In fact, I would like you to put in the comment section, please, either one, Ed is reality ready, or put down Ed is not reality ready. Because that right there, for my humble opinion, was a whole bunch of lies. He would never left Liz in this situation. The man wants to judge Jason for Jason's actions, but this is the man that broke up with this woman 13 times and didn't even want to tell her that the wedding was called off and she had to find out from somebody else. I believe it was the wedding designers or organizers that had to tell her that. And he wants to sit there and try and make us feel sorry for him. This is why I say this man should not be on television no more. But each time they bring him back because they think they entertain us when he doesn't. He makes us feel sick. They bring him back because maybe he thinks that he can win us over and make us finally believe that maybe he's not that much of a bad person. No, you are a bad person. You never will be a good person in our eyes. And to be fair, the only people he should care about whether he's a good person or not are the people around him. Simple as that. Our opinions really and truly aren't that deep. But hey, again, if you believe that he is reality ready, please write down Ed reality ready or reality ready Ed. Or write down reality red. No, wait. Ed is not reality ready. Yeah, that's the one. Now we're going to dive into the next one itself in particular. So we're going to get into this one here. And this one is going to be Kimberly.
Foolish, I know, right?
To go play laser tag and all that. I like stuff like that. I'll just look for that. It felt really old to me. If it didn't feel like a cute first date, you know what I mean? I'm not saying we have to drink and go to the club and all that stuff, but it's like I hang stuff, but
this is a woman that says that she likes a date that involves activities. This man literally took them out for activity. But because the activity wasn't something that she didn't like, allegedly, it's an issue. Honestly, when you talk about someone called picking at the smallest things possible, nitpicking, that's the term.
it's like I hang out with people that are younger than me. And, you know, I mean, that's why my mother was the same way. My mother's favorite rap group was, favorite group was the Black Eyed Peas. She loved.
It's kind of crazy because she mentions the fact that she's always likes to be around younger people, and that's why she likes to have this abundance of joy and this abundance of energy, and that's why being with a man around her age is something that she just can't see happening. Interesting. If that man had been around her age, but he would have been about 6 foot something, I promise you now, this conversation would not be the same. But let's continue.
That's old, you know, and I feel like I have that energy, you know.
No, she's not gonna work with him because Kimberly doesn't like somebody around her age. She don't even like to friend people around her age.
Everything that this man says here, hit the nail on the head, and we're about to dive into it.
Her mind is like a baby mind. Watch how she play with her son's friends. Like, I feel uncomfortable sometimes when she do things.
And I feel like he's the type that we would be in our pajamas.
Let's just talk about what Usman just said there. Pay attention to how she is with her son and her son's friends. In fact, if you really think about it, I've never seen her be friends with anybody else but her son and her son's friends, which says a lot about her character, right? And it's interesting because Usman says she's somebody that likes to be around younger people. Kimberly says that she's somebody that likes, pretty much to be around a younger person, which is quite interesting because we know that there was a time when Kimberly literally went and married a man or a boy who was literally 18 or 19 years of age because she watched him on television and she saw that he was getting arrested and she felt bad for him or something like that. I may have information a little bit incorrect there, but please do double check it yourself. But I'm pretty sure this was a story, and she decided to woof down to the prison or wherever the hell that man was been held and decided to marry him. Most bizarre thing ever. And this is a guy that was literally, probably at the time, he might have even been older than Jamal at the time when this behavior happened, if not around the same age. Okay, so we definitely know that when it comes to her trying to, go for the younger men, that's something that she definitely tries to do. Now, of course, does she believe that maybe if she goes for a younger guy will be easy for her to manipulate, control? I don't know. But let me just go back to what I said to you before. If the guy here had been around, the guy that she went on a date with was clearly around the age. If he had been taller, this conversation would have been different. Well, think of it this way. We started off this season seeing Kimberly going to see a friend called B. B is somebody that is a friend that she had intimacy with. But unfortunately for her, B doesn't want anything else past that. But B, on the other hand, he was a man who looked quite tall, and also on top of that, he looked like as if he was probably around the same age as Kimberly. So it is kind of hypocritical, isn't it? Now, I don't have the confirmation, but if you really think about it, everything that she's saying is nothing but just BS. She's just somebody that just has a criteria that is unrealistic, a criteria that a child would have, not a criteria that a grown-ass person would have. And you see, Kimberly's the kind of person that will see these comments as an attack when they're not. These comments are nothing but just factual to the information that we are seeing in front of our eyes. And the matter of the fact is, she needs to grow up, mature herself, and not have a mind like a baby, like Usman said, okay? And understand that If she wants to continue being a single woman as she continues to get older and older, knowing that really and truly she wants to actually have a partner, understand that the path that she's putting herself on is perfect for that. And the question is, will Kimberly ever be reality ready to recognize her behavior? Probably not. But let's dive into what she says here regarding why she could not have a second date with this man. And you know what? I'm so happy that she didn't, because this man deserves absolutely much more.
I feel like he's the type that we would be in our pajamas by like 8 o'clock at night, drinking hot cocoa and watching Wheel of Fortune. That's when I'm just like, I lost all this weight. I'm ready to go. I have all this energy. And I'm just like, eh. And then I just feel like he's like, oh, I just wasn't feeling it.
You know, to be fair, the best way to go about this would have been if she said, listen, I just wasn't feeling the guy. That's it. But to go into detail like that is unnecessary. That's something that a child does. And listen, let's just call it what it is. What is wrong with being at home at 8 p.m. in your pajamas, having a hot drink or whatever drink that you like to have? I mean, listen, not every day is a day of going outside and being crazy. You know what I mean? To be fair, a part of maturing is understanding that there are days where you need to just chill and there are days where you need to have a little bit of fun. But it is quite interesting how she pictured herself with this man in this setting of being in a drinking hot coffee or whatever she said, 8 p.m. in pajamas and in bed or whatever she said. It's interesting that this is what she pictured, but yet the date that he took her on was literally outside in the beautiful sun, cycling. This is the same woman that said that I like dates that involves activities, but the cycling activity was not the one. I want a man that is going to be active because I've lost weight, so I like to be out there doing things, but yet the date that he took you on was an active one. So where did this perception come from? Because he's a nice guy that spoke a little bit soft, a little bit slow, you know what I mean, with his pace controlled, a man that carried himself with pride and just doesn't really give a damn about anybody's opinions and whatnot. He just wants to live life, and if he can find a lovely woman in his way, he's more than happy to bring into his life. But you see, that was just too nice for you, wasn't it? See, him being nice screamed, this is a man that likes to just go home and just do nothing. I'm sorry, but correct me if I'm wrong. Where did she meet this man? Was it online? No, it wasn't online, was it? So it wasn't on any app. Okay, cool. Was it speed dating somewhere where you just sitting down and sitting? No, it wasn't that, was it? Was it any setting that involved just doing nothing? No, it wasn't, was it? She met this man at an event, some sort of function, this party style function where people were not sitting down, they were walking around. They were mingling around. So she met this man in a situation that one involved being active for starters. Then went on a date with him that involved being active as well. But for some weird reason, she pictures him as this old man who's going to be sitting down at 8 p.m. drinking a hot drink on an evening. Which again wouldn't be wrong because we all need our chill time. 7 days in a week. No one's going to be going out and do crazy things 7 days a week unless, of course, you're a teenager, you know what I mean? But hey, maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe she just likes to see, maybe she gets jealous of the fact that her son's always out with his friends, having a good time, and she's like, well, I want to get involved too. I don't know, but the whole thing is strange. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense. And honestly, that needs to be checked on. She needs to go see someone to look into why she believes that this is okay. But like I said before, Usman hit the nail on the head right there. She's got a young mind, which isn't a bad thing, but to justify why you don't like a guy is just nasty work in that format. She just doesn't like the guy because he's short, which is tragic. But anyway, like I said before, she'll continue being single for the rest of her life, or most of it anyway, with his attitude. And any man that she does come across that she's going to approve of is 1000% just going to use her. Simple as that. And you know what? In life, the choices that we make really show us what we deserve. So if she continues to just date men who just use her for whatever, she deserves it because that's what you're presenting. Simple as that. And that goes for anyone else. Sometimes people do things like, I don't know why this happens to me. I don't deserve this. I'm sorry, but if you're getting older and older and you're going for the same things again and again, you deserve what's happening to you because there's a pattern that you are not reality ready to recognize to change. So ask yourself this, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think Kimberly will ever be reality ready? Let me know. Now let's dive into the next one. Now this is Colt. Colt is the guy. He is the guy that, just like Ed, should no longer be on this show.
I fell in love with his potential, like the fantasy I created in my head of like what we could be together and like all this. The reality is he's a liar and cheater and he's never gonna stop.
I've said this before and I've said it again. Ladies, do not ever fall for someone for their potential. Absolutely do not do that. And the same thing for men as well. Do not ever do that. You're wasting your own time.
Everything that man does is performative. He'll be like, oh, I feel so much guilt, I feel so much shame, I feel so much remorse. Then he goes into this to me. I think he feels no remorse because otherwise he'd stop doing that same.
Absolutely. The guy has no remorse at all. He doesn't give a damn about nobody. Nobody. And to be honest with you, the moment that he literally told his mum that he wants space from her, it was only going to get worse. Only going to get worse. Why? Because he was used to having his mum around and looking after him, even when he didn't have anyone. But now, he can't be single ever. Colt will be with somebody and then he has to go with someone else after. He can't be single at all. It's not possible for him. It's just that simple. He needs someone always around him, but unfortunately, he can never appreciate that person that's around him. As to date right now, we can say that Courtney has probably been the person that's maybe done the most for him, at least on screen anyway, has really looked after him, and he has taken every single part of it for granted. But like I said before, for Kimberly, the choices that we make really show us how we should be treated. And this is why I don't have like this crazy sympathy for Courtney and the situation, because the reality is this. This is a woman that should have known her own worth. She's 34 years of age, still living with her parents, but either way though, she has a certain standard, and the fact that she doesn't even know her own worth is actually quite worrying. The fact that she thought going for Colt over Usman is nasty work. Now, I'm not saying that she should have picked Usman over Colt. I'm saying that she should have left Hunt for Love just a single woman and saying, you know what, the man that I'm looking for simply just is not here. But no, she decided to take home a man to her family home that added absolutely nothing to her life. So like I said, how you present yourself is how you will be treated. That's the reality. The question is, are people ever reality ready to recognize that?
Jane said she was ashamed of me, so I really realized I hit rock bottom at that point. Comes a ride.
Oh, I'm ashamed of myself. Well, no, because Courtney's mum said she's ashamed of you, that's when you realize you hit rock bottom. Don't lie. That's when you realize that you lost a free home, free food, a carer. Simple as 1, 2, 3.
And I don't know how to break up with a woman. I don't know how to say no. I don't know how to make things better in a relationship once things go bad.
Don't lie. Absolute lies. He knows how to break up with a woman. He knows how to. He just doesn't want to because he can't let go. He can't let go when somebody is looking after him. That's what it is. He's one of those people that can't stay still. If you come into his life right now and you start looking after him, he's going to enjoy it, but never really show it to you, but never really appreciate it properly, because what happens is when he's enjoying it with you, he's also thinking about how he can now talk to someone else. Honestly, the whole thing with this guy is just, ugh.
For me to watch. I feel a lot of shame for my actions towards Courtney.
When he moved into my house, this should have been a red flag that he's like, oh, let's get a joint bank account. I want to marry you and like have children and we'll name our baby Wesley. And he's like, oh, that's my middle name. Like, that's just.
Should have been, could have been, would have been. Listen, I hate when people say this should have been a red flag. You knew it was a red flag. Here's a reality check for every single person in this whole entire world, okay? Everybody just likes to ignore red flags when they first see it at the beginning because they have this false hope that maybe that person's going to be different. Listen, if you see something from the very, very beginning that you think is a bit of is a concern to you, address it immediately. Address it, see what the reaction that is that you get, and the reaction that you get will tell you how you want to proceed moving forward. But like I said before, when you get the reaction that you get, do not linger on the hope of that reaction. Linger on the facts of that reaction, whether or not it's good enough for you or not. Simple as that. Understand your worth.
That's why I want my baby's name to be. So
I would carry with me for the rest of my life. I could never lie to a woman again, or cheat, or answer.
So no more cheating.
No more cheating, no more distraction. And if things don't work out.
No more what? No more this? No more that? This man can't even stay still. And don't I know some people when they're talking this way, they can't help but move certain body parts. I get it. But this man right here, he moves because he can't stay still when he's lying. It's that simple. And unfortunately for this guy, he never tells the truth. That's why he's always moving.
In my relationship with the current girl, I will end things gracefully. Only I mean, lesson in my bones I will never forget.
What makes you so confident you're all of a sudden going to change?
Because I can't sit through again and break another girl's heart like I did Courtney. Tore me up on the inside. That's never going to heal properly.
That is an absolute lie. He does not give a damn that he broke up with Courtney, that he broke Courtney's heart. Because here's the thing, this is a man that was never even intimate with this woman. This is a man that kept her literally, and he kept her in a place where he benefited, and she benefited in no shape or form in any type of way. So basically, these two never actually really did build an actual emotional connection. That never happened. Nor did they build a physical connection. That never happened. Everything, like Courtney said, was performative by him. And he wants to sit there and say that I'll never do it again because hurting her feelings really affected me. So you're trying to tell me that out of all the women that you've married, you've been with, Courtney was the one that just had to be the one that really sparked that thing into you? Really? I'm sorry, but like, he had a longer term relationship with Vanessa, well, a relationship that did actually, well, at least what we thought, actually did involve emotions. But after that didn't work out, you went and did this to Courtney after anyway. You can't, he cannot sit there and tell us that his connection with Courtney was more stronger than the connection that he had with Vanessa. I wouldn't believe that. Vanessa is the same woman that he literally was talking to when he was with Larissa, and also with the other woman, is it Jessica, I believe? And then obviously eventually ended up leaving Jessica, or Jessica left him, whatever, so he can be with Vanessa. A woman that literally he was involved with across 2 relationships prior. Come on now, nah, nonsense. You can lie to yourself, but you can't fool me. With that being said, do you think Colt will ever be reality ready with his actions? Do you think he will actually ever change? Do you think he's actually ever going to pay attention to his behavior? Let me know in the comments. You can either say reality ready Colt, or Colt is not reality ready. One of the two, whichever one. Let me know. As long as you got the word reality ready in the comments, I'll know what you mean. Right. Oh, yes. So like I said before, for me, Ed shouldn't be on the show anymore, ever. Colt should not be on the show again, ever. Because this man is literally coming on the show just to embarrass women every single step of the way. He's embarrassing them because he keeps playing these women that a lot of us sit there and think to ourselves, how did he get this woman in the first place? Why is she with him in the first place? What is wrong with this woman for even falling for this guy's BS? Well, let me know what you're thinking, please, and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hype, comment, and peace.